Tom auditioned for the role of Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He impressed George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, the movie's producer and director.
Steven and George said, "We want you to do the movie." I went, "What?" And they said, "We want you to do the movie." And I was kind of stunned. I was the last guy in town, I think, to go out on it. And I said, "I did this pilot, and they have first call on me. It isn't sold or anything." And they said, "Oh, we're not worried about that. We got plenty of cards to play with Universal."
While Spielberg and Lucas attempted to work out a deal with the studio, Tom agonized over what he should do. Take the solid offer to play Indiana Jones, or honor his contract to play Magnum if it's sold. He consulted with Stephen J. Cannell.
I said, "Well, Tom, this is a good problem." And he said, "Well, what do I do?" And I said, "Well, you know what you got to do." He says, "I got to live up to my contracts." I said, "Exactly." Tom had that sense. I think it came from his dad, who was a businessman and a really good one. And, I think his father kind of taught him, as my father taught me, only as good as your word.
When CBS bought Magnum, the network refused to alter its schedule to allow Tom to shoot Raiders of the Lost Ark, and instead, Harrison Ford was cast as the lead.
Harrison Ford is indelible and brilliant as Indiana Jones. It's just an interesting anecdote at this point. I like to think I would have done a good job. I probably couldn't have done his job. I would have had to do it my way.
Selleck went to Hawaii to begin work on Magnum, but a strike by the Screen Actors Guild delayed production. Strapped for cash, Tom worked as a handyman for his landlady.
I worked for $7 an hour for her, with no work, waiting for this hypothetical show Magnum to start, and guess who comes to Hawaii? Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it turns out they finished the movie before I ever started Magnum. I could have done both.
Tom had a contract for 13 episodes of Magnum P.I., but he had given up a shot at the big time when he lost the opportunity to play Indiana Jones. Now he was hedging his bets on a TV series that may not make it past the fall season. He had been down this road before with 6 other TV show pilots that went nowhere, and he wasn't so sure that his gamble would pay off. But in the next decade, Tom Selleck would go from obscurity to celebrity faster than a speeding Ferrari. In December of 1980, Tom Selleck burst on the scene as the star of Magnum P.I., a detective series set in Hawaii. Tom was perfect for the role as the private investigator for the yuppie generation. And when the show premiered on CBS, it quickly became a hit.
There's really a lot of reasons. The writing, it was Hawaii itself. Hawaii was a big, big factor. And believe it or not, the Ferraris and the 2 Doberman pinchers, but it was the whole chemistry of what was put together, but mainly it was Tom.
Did you see the sunrise this morning?
Yes. Why?
As the virile but vulnerable Magnum, Tom's brawny good looks, sense of humor, and laid-back attitude appealed to both male and female viewers. To them, he represented the classic leading man, long absent from Hollywood. Tom's path brought him many reasons to celebrate. As he continued his success with Magnum P.I., he was named Favorite Male Television Performer 4 times by the People's Choice Awards and was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1986. Tom's dedication to his show led him to get more involved in the production of Magnum, and he eventually became its executive producer. He created the kind of camaraderie among the Magnum crew that he had seen James Garner promote on the set of The Rockford Files.
He allowed for there to be chemistry on the show. That's very important. Here I was this hard-nosed guy from South Central L.A., all of a sudden thrust in the middle of all these white people in Hawaii, and there was nothing there in Hawaii for me, and I was not happy, and they allowed for me to adjust, so much so that I ended up writing for the show and directing the show.
In 1987, when Tom completed his 7-year contractual obligation to the show, he began to change his priorities.
I just knew that if I wanted a family, which I was thinking seriously about at that point, that was time, I thought, to move on. As good as this business has been to me, it's not what life is about. Life is about more important things. And, you know, we've all struggled as we get successful in this business to balance that. I certainly have.
As his long run as America's favorite TV detective was nearing the end, Tom Selleck was still searching for that balance. And by the end of the year, he would find it, with a new wife and 3 men and a baby. With the blockbuster success of 3 Men and a Baby, Tom could have moved on from Magnum and devoted himself full-time to his movie career. Instead, he agreed to do 1 more year of the show out of concern for the cast and crew who he had come to consider his family.
He was really concerned about doing the right thing when probably maybe his move should have been to take the ball that was rolling and run with it. He was primed to be a big mega star. And I think he wanted to be loyal to his cast and crew, and, you know, Tom is just too nice.
In 2005, he starred as Chief Jesse Stone in the CBS film Stone Cold, which led the network to win the ratings race against Desperate Housewives for the night, and got Selleck a deal for 2 more Stone films in 2006, Night Passage and Death in Paradise. Also in 2006, Tom guest stars as Candice Bergen's ex in several episodes of the hit series Boston Legal. The strength of his long career allows Tom to put his success in perspective.
My career started in people's minds in 1980. Very few people are working at that level 20 years later. So be it. But, you know, I've had the #1 network television show. I've had the #1 movie in the world. And I've had the highest rated cable movie, which is where I'm really enjoying working right now. You know, your stock in features and everything goes like this, but, you know, I'm still around, I'm still working, so mostly I'm just kind of grateful, you know. I've had, by any standard now, a long career, and I continue to keep working, and I'm thrilled people want to see me.
But of all the characters he's played, Tom Selleck remains best remembered for Magnum, the role that has defined him.
It's the best role I'll ever have. When we fought to not do a character that was the same every week, but a character that got older, changed and grew, and had flaws, and basically the audience lived his life with him, and you get to play a character over 8 years. You can't do that in a play. You certainly can't do that in a movie. They're all slices in time. When you get to play that ongoing thing, I think it's a rare opportunity. And yeah, it's the best role I think I'll ever get to have. Everywhere I go, every interview I ever do, everybody says, when's there going to be a Magnum movie? If it services the spirit of Magnum as well as pays a bunch of salaries, yeah, it'd be fun to find out what's he up to now. Because we wouldn't try and pick up where we left off. We'd try and pick up some years later while this character's been away from the audience, and they'll wonder what's happened to him. I know they will, because they ask me every day I go to the hardware store.
Tom Selleck is one of the top 10 male characters ever to be remembered on television, and he's not only remembered for his role and the adventure of the role, but for the humanity of the role. He made a man not only macho, but vulnerable and fallible at the same time. Not an easy task. He did it better than anyone's ever done it.